So it's 2016 and me and my two friends are sitting around a table in my friend's bedroom. And my friend pulls out something deadly, something dangerous, a bottle of poison. Although it's not really poison, it's actually a bottle of passion fruit vodka. And he's about to give me a shot and I'm about to drink for the first time in my life. 2016, I think I'm 17 years old at the time. I'm about to have a drink for the first time in my life. So somehow these guys had convinced me to try drinking. Because before this point, I was so against drinking and drugs in general. Basically, I was that kid who was like, bro, I'm never gonna do any drugs. I'm never gonna drink. Why would I put poison in my body? Why would I drink this thing that literally, have you seen drunk people? They're so dumb, man. Like, drunk people just they're dumb, they can't speak, they fall over, they do dumb things. Why would I do that to myself? Why would I put poison in myself just so I can act dumb? Why would I do drugs? I was so against alcohol, but these guys have somehow convinced me to try drinking. I think part of the reason was they wanted to see what I was like drunk. Because here's the thing, I was always that quiet kid who never spoke. I had no confidence, I was always quiet, awkward, didn't talk much at all. I was always the most quiet kid in the room. So I guess these guys wanted to see what I was like when I was drinking, right? So they had somehow convinced me, peer pressured me. I was, with my consent to drink alcohol. So here I am, sitting with them, about to take a shot of vodka for the first time. I drink it. And it actually goes down pretty well. But, so we head out, we're gonna go out to dinner, have some dinner, come back. We're gonna finish the bottle, have some fun, just the three of us. My first time drinking, their experience, they're gonna teach me, they're gonna guide me. So we head out and we're sitting in the car, the three of us, chilling, driving to our dinner. And I start to notice something. So up to this point, like I said earlier, I had always felt like this kind of anxiety, this kind of stress. I'd always felt restricted, constrained when I was in social situations, talking to people, hanging out with people. I always felt restricted, like I couldn't talk freely, I couldn't be free. I was always constrained in my head or whatever, overthinking everything I was saying. And that feeling of anxiety, that feeling of stress that I'd always felt, about 30 minutes after I had that shot of vodka, I could feel that feeling of anxiety literally leaving my body. Like I could feel it dissipating out of my head, leaving my body. And for the first time in a social situation, I was actually feeling energized. I was actually starting to talk, be free, make jokes, have fun with these guys. I was actually feeling free for the first time. I was like feeling energized in a social situation rather than drained. And I'd realized, up to this point, I'd always tried to find a solution to get rid of my anxiety, to make me more confident. I wanted to try drugs, I wanted to try pills, I wanted to try, whatever I could find. But here it is, I'd found it. The literal potion that would cure me and make me social and make me confident and give me friends, maybe give me a girlfriend, which is what I wanted at the time. So I'd found the solution, the fix. It was alcohol. And so what do you think happened? Fast forward 2 years, 1 year, I go to university. I'm let out free into the real world, surrounded by a bunch of people, young people my age, no rules. I'm over the legal drinking age, so I go ham, I go hard. For the next 2 years or so, 2018 to 2019, I'm going out at least 2 times a week, usually 3, drinking. Literally drinking till I'm like almost blackout drunk, like 2 to 3 times a week. In university, I get hooked to it. Literally because it was making me confident. It was making me feel socially free. I got hooked onto that feeling and I started drinking all the time. It got very extreme to points where I would be going to events which weren't even drinking events, right? They were just like chill trivia events. And I would have like a glass or 2 of wine before I went to that event on my own, just to feel a bit more confident, just to feel a bit more free socially. And bro, like what I was drinking before we were going out, here's the thing. Here's what I would drink. This was disgusting as hell. Basically, I would get the cheapest wine at the wine shop. The cheapest wine was so cheap, it literally came in a box, right? I would get a box of wine. It was called Goon. I would get that box of wine and I would take a bottle of Pepsi, a bottle of cola. Although I was cheap as hell back then, I wasn't drinking Pepsi. I think it was called like Crazy Cola or something. It was like some off-brand cola. I would take half the bottle of cola and I would fill in the other half with that boxed wine. And I would make this drink. I would justify to everyone that it's actually a drink, a cocktail from Spain called Calimocho. So I'd drink this thing. People thought it was disgusting, but I would just walk around with a Pepsi bottle drinking it. I would tell some people it's Calimocho, I would tell other people it's vodka or whatever. No one could tell the difference, but I would drink this entire bottle. It was like 7 drinks, 10 drinks or whatever. I would drink that entire bottle before we would go out to the nightclub to drink. If you're not from Australia or the UK or these crazy countries that drink way too much, you're gonna think this concept is crazy. But before people go out to drink, before people go out to the nightclubs, they hang out around people's houses, play these games, it's called pre-drinks, and they literally drink to the point that they're drunk before they go out to drink. So 2 to 3 times a week, I'm doing pre-drinks, drinking this Pepsi mixture to the point where I'm like dizzy, can't think, memories disappearing. We'd get into the Uber, we'd get onto a tram, we'd go to the nightclubs. Anyway, I'd be doing this 2 to 3 times a week, you know, going crazy at the nightclubs, making mistakes or whatever for about 2 years. This process continued. And then lockdown came. Lockdown hit. 2020 lockdown. In my city, lockdown was like a year and a half long. It was insane. Lockdown, I barely drank during lockdown. That's the thing, my drinking started to slow down. You know, I think there was like about a 1 month period during lockdown where I was drinking like every day with my girlfriend at the time. I almost got addicted to alcohol, but apart from that 1 month period, I was barely drinking. And fast forward 2022, end of 2022, you know, I'm partying a little bit again, I'm drinking, I'm going out, but I'm starting to question this life. This life of partying, this life of going out, this life of drinking. I'm starting to question it. And I'm starting to ask myself, is this actually the life I want to live for the rest of my life? Do I want to, you know, get crazy drunk all the time? Or do I have bigger goals, bigger ambitions? You know, I was going to these nightclubs, it became a routine kind of thing. You know, when something is exciting at first, like when I first went partying, it was like, holy cow, this is my new life. This is so exciting. This is amazing. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. This is great. But after about, you know, 2 or 3 years of doing it over and over and over again, it gets kind of boring. It gets kind of routine. You get used to it. You know, your body adapts. And so I was kind of reaching that point. I was like looking around, seeing all these people like drunk, half naked, vaping. And I was like, do I really want to associate with these people? Do I really want to be doing this all the time? I started to question myself whether drinking and going out was the lifestyle I wanted. And around this time, I discovered on YouTube, I started discovering videos about anti-drinking. I think this is when like an anti-drinking movement kind of started. I think I first saw a video by, I think it was Charisma on Command, something like how alcohol destroys your charisma or something. And it got implanted into my head, the idea of stopping drinking. Because up to that point, I'd never questioned drinking. It was so normal in society. It was so normal among the people around me. I never questioned it. I thought, yeah, bro, if you go out to a party, if you go out with friends, you're drinking, no question about it. But now I started to actually question whether that was actually true, whether that was the lifestyle I wanted. So it started with that Charisma on Command video, then a bunch of other videos started appearing in my feed. And then I watched that legendary Huberman 2-hour alcohol podcast, where basically he was just saying for 2 hours how alcohol was destroying you and killing you from the inside. So it's around end of 2022, I'm starting to question whether I want to actually drink or not. But here's the problem. Here's why I didn't quit drinking right away. You can be faced with a list of 1 million negatives of why alcohol is bad for you. You know, it literally makes you stressed, makes you depressed, it gives you hangovers, which destroys your focus, destroys your energy. It's literally bad for you. It shrinks your brain. You can be faced with a massive list of negatives. But if there is some perceived benefit to drinking, if it seems to give you some benefit that is really, really valuable, then you're not going to quit. And to me, the benefit that I thought alcohol was giving me was it was making me confident. It was confidence equaled friends, equaled girls or whatever. So I thought that alcohol was giving me the confidence that I wanted, the social skills that I wanted, the charisma that I wanted. That's why I didn't quit it. Even though I had watched, you know, hours of podcasts about the negatives and everything, I still didn't quit right away. It wasn't till I took that thing that I thought was a benefit and realized it's actually not a benefit. It's actually a downside in disguise. I don't know if this makes sense. But basically, what can actually get you to quit alcohol is taking a look at all the perceived benefits. They're called perceived benefits because they're not real benefits. You look at the perceived benefits of alcohol and realize that none of them are true. It doesn't actually make you more confident. It doesn't make it more fun. It doesn't make you more interesting. Basically, you question all these, like there was a really good video I watched by, I think, Alex Becker or something, where he goes into this. But basically, I started taking a look at that thing that I thought was a benefit, which was it made me confident. And I started to realize that it doesn't actually make me confident. I just thought it did. Like, here's the thing, alcohol destroys your confidence in the long term. Because if you need to rely on some external thing to make you confident, then that's not real confidence. So you seem like you're getting more confident, but your sober confidence, your sober ability to talk to people and socialize and have fun and be free and enjoy life goes down. So alcohol actually destroys your confidence in the long term, but you just feel like you're benefiting from it. And also, over time, you need more and more and more of the same substance to get the same benefits. So at first, you might feel really good after like 1 drink, which is what I did when I first had my first ever drink. But it got to a point where I literally needed like 7 drinks before I gave myself permission to talk to anyone. You know, I would be like, oh bro, I can't talk to that girl yet. First, I need to have 7 drinks inside me. And so when I started to question that, early 2023, it started with a challenge, but I ended up quitting alcohol, I think for about 6 months. I'll tell you in a bit why I got back onto it. But I stopped drinking alcohol for 6 months. There were several times actually where I went to parties, I went out, you know, I went to even a music festival and I didn't drink. I went out sober. And it was crazy. First of all, it's hard at first. You know, you're gonna crave alcohol. you're gonna want that alcohol to make you more confident. You're gonna feel very restricted. Like I was at the house party and I just needed a drink in my hand to feel like I was drinking alcohol. Like I think I was drinking 0% beer at the first house party I went to. When I stopped drinking, I was drinking 0% beer, but I still had that impulse in my mind that I wanted to drink. You know, when I wanted to feel a bit more confident, a bit more free, I would impulsively, unconsciously, take a sip of this 0% alcohol. So you still have that habit, you still have that impulse inside you. You're gonna feel very weird at first when you go out and do these normal things that you used to do drinking, doing them sober. They're gonna feel very weird. But after a while, you actually get used to it and you actually start to feel more confident, more capable, sober. And it got to the point where I would rather go to a house party, I would rather go to a social event sober than drunk. Because I actually felt better. I felt more confident. I felt like I could talk to people more. I felt when I was drinking, I was inhibited. You know, I was saying things that I normally wouldn't say. I was, overthinking more because couldn't think clearly. So actually I was feeling better sober. So I've gotten to the point now where I want to develop my social capabilities, my social confidence sober. Because I want that ability sober. I don't want to have to always rely on drinking to be able to talk to people like a human being. The majority of people in society need a drink inside them before they can literally approach a girl and talk to her. In my opinion, that is crazy. You should be able to do that sober because she's a human being. You know, why do you need drinks to be able to talk to someone? So right now my goal is to develop that part of me sober. That was my goal when I stopped drinking. But I only stopped drinking for 6 months, and towards the end of 2023, I got back into drinking. But with severely reduced how much I drank. You know, I stopped drinking that much at social events. You know, if I'm going to a social event, I might have 1 or 2 drinks, but not every single time, only sometimes. But now I still kind of drink with friends from time to time. You know, I haven't stopped drinking completely because I do think drinking is like a nice part of life, a nice experience to life, you know, as long as you're not going crazy. Since I got back into drinking, I've only gotten drunk once, super drunk once, and it was on New Year, like a few months ago. I got super drunk, you know, regret it massively. I wish I didn't go that hard, but you know, I'm very rarely am I actually gonna get drunk. You know, I might maybe like once or twice a year or something. But I've severely reduced my alcohol usage. You know, I don't think you have to go completely off it. If you're super addicted to it, you know, you're an alcoholic, I do 100% think you should like stop drinking because it's gonna mess up your life. But if you were like me and you were like kind of half drinking, half not, you know, you don't have to get rid of it completely, but definitely consider stopping drinking at social events. You know, again, I'm not saying stop drinking. Like if my friend was having a birthday party and they were all going out to a nightclub, I'm 100% gonna drink. You know, I'm gonna drink, have fun, go out. You know, if I'm having a chill time with some of my friends and they wanna drink, you know, I might drink with them and stuff. So I'm not stopping drinking completely. I'm just reducing it massively. But again, there are downsides. It's not like there's no downsides. You know, according to Huberman and these scientists, they say that once you go over 2 drinks in a night, then you start to encounter problems. So for me, it really has to be a special occasion for me to go over 2 drinks. You know, if I'm going to a party or I'm hanging out with friends and I'm having 1 or 2 drinks, I don't question it too much. But if I'm having more, it really needs to be a special occasion. There really needs to be some reason for doing it, you know. So I hope this video helped. That was my experience drinking. You know, I think drinking is a crazy part of society. It's the only drug where people will think it's weird if you don't drink. They'll think you have a problem. Like they don't think you're weird, but they think you have a problem. They assume you have a problem if you don't drink. They're like, oh, was your dad an alcoholic? Oh, do you have some kind of condition? Oh, are you Muslim? They'll question you if you don't drink. So alcohol is a crazy substance, a crazy drug. Maybe in the long run I will stop drinking completely, but for now I'm still drinking a tiny bit. Let me know in the comments your experience with drinking. You know, if you have any experience. See you in the next one.